Are you ready? Welcome to our next episode, the podcast. Dr. AJ, Dr. Gabriel, getting my feedback. Maybe I just need to talk a little bit quieter. I get to yelling. I get this feedback, brother. Hey, welcome to the podcast, brother. You look good in that red, my friend.
I know. I'm here to support the Chiefs and you. My lady friend took me to Shields over the weekend, bought me a whole outfit because she's a big fan. So I got to put my Packers fanhood on hold till next year, and I'm here to support you. I hope you guys win. I'm rooting for you guys.
I appreciate that, man. It takes some major security. I don't think you could find me I wouldn't be wearing a Packers jersey if they were in the Super Bowl. I got to be honest.
Maybe I'm just a better man than you. I don't know.
Maybe, but you're just so secure in your masculinity. That green and gold just doesn't go together to me. It just seems a little off. So
That's fair.
It is a fun day though, so we're all going to be wearing jerseys in the office today. So if you guys have your adjustment today, come in, wear your jersey. We'll get some pictures. This will be a lot of fun. What else is going on in the practice, man? We got a little bit of news, don't we?
Yeah, Dr. Jordan had his baby, so we're excited that he's going to be out of the office for a few weeks. I think we have him back towards the end of February, but welcomed a healthy baby into the world, so we're going to give him a little bit of time with the little one, and we're just really happy for him.
And that's all we're allowed to say.
We got a picture of the baby on the front desk, so if you come to the office, you swipe in, you can see those pictures, and just be sure to tell us all the kind things you want to say. We'll pass it along to him.
Absolutely. Yeah. Dr. Jordan is withholding some for make sure that he can introduce the baby to his family without us sharing it too much on the podcast in case they're watching. So congratulations, Doc. Congratulations on becoming a father. And we love you so much, man. Also in the practice today, I think for the next until Valentine's Day, right? We're doing guess the candies. So when you come in, there's a little sheet you can fill out. Guess how many are in here. Closest to it. I asked if it was like Price is Right style, like closest without going over. But we've got Awaken shaker bottle, Awaken stocking cap, and then my personal favorite, the Health Over Fear shirt.
Yep.
So it's a little big, so you can sleep in it if you need to. But the whole idea, I mean, it doesn't matter what agenda is being pushed to the public. Your body is the most powerful self-healing organism in the planet, on planet Earth. And there's nothing more powerful than your innate ability to heal. So this represents that we can't be swayed in our healthcare decisions by any sort of agenda that's pushed by Big Pharma or the media. So might get a little bit conspiracy theory, but screw it. It's a great T-shirt.
No, it is, because it's, you take your health seriously, and you're in control of it most of the time. So you do everything you can to prepare yourself. There shouldn't be much you have to be afraid of. Just prepared. Absolutely.
So we had some cool things happen in the practice this week. One of them you brought up at the end of the day as one of your positives. I'd love to hear, why don't you share with the people that positive from earlier in this week?
Yeah, we have a couple under care and their newborn baby, and they went out of town for a few weeks, and probably 2.5 weeks they were out of the office, not getting adjusted, and we knew they were coming back sometime this week, and a gentleman showed up Monday afternoon and told me that he sent the lady with the baby to go pick up the dog and do the other stuff, and he came straight here from the airport to get adjusted. Didn't stop anywhere else. And it's one of those things where it warmed my heart that he was so excited to get back in here and get adjusted. And he knew his body was needing it too, with all the extra travel and kind of that increase in stress on his body from just doing different things and just being out and about. And it's just nice when other people care about their health as much as we do. It's great. I just love to see things like that.
I feel like it's a very big confirmation that we're doing our jobs, right? Because it's one thing to get somebody healthy. It's another thing to inspire somebody to understand why they're getting healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about why at the last podcast, but that gentleman's why, his new father, right? It's such a big thing to make sure that we're always in a position where we can protect and serve our family. So I love that. I love that one, man. There's some things that I want to talk about today, some like major topics. So I want to get directly into this. Okay.
Yeah. You were mentioning something about, we get so many questions about sleep. I believe that was one of the topics you wanted to go into.
Yes. And I mean, this is where your body's healing. This is where your body's recovering. What, let's say you're talking with somebody and they're not sleeping well. What are the main things that you believe they need to know?
I mean, first things first is you just need to lower the overactivity of the stress response, and that's getting checked, getting adjusted, clearing out your nervous system, calming your body down. Um, we get so many questions about mattresses and pillows and environments, and at the end of the day, if your body is in a state where it can recover, it really, a lot of those things are kind of trivial. They don't really matter as much as getting your stress response lowered and your system calm. I mean, there's little things you can do to help elevate your sleep, get screens out of the room. Don't have just a sporadic sleep schedule. Sometimes it's hard with certain careers, but having a certain routine at night and in the morning and training your body to wake up at similar times every day, go to sleep at similar times. Your body's very good at, adapting to a routine. But if your stress levels are so high and you're kind of stuck in that sympathetic dominant mode, it's going to be hard to shut down no matter what mattress you have, no matter what pillows you're using, no matter how much you try to sleep, your body's going to have a hard time shutting down unless it's calm enough to slip into that rest and recovery mode.
Yes, sir. I got to pause 1 second. So Miss Desiree just brought in, right before the podcast started, I was like, man, I'm running a little bit low on coffee. So sweet. She made me a coffee here. I got my little coffee mug from you, man. Love it, man. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Once it touches your lips, it's so good.
That's another thing with sleep too. Try not to drink coffee after 5 p.m., 4 p.m., or 2 p.m., depending on who you are.
Man, what I would say to anybody that's not sleeping is you got to measure and see if your nervous system is in a state of stress, right? So much of your healing happens while we're sleeping. There's so much cellular regeneration, and that whole process is coordinated through your central nervous system. The great thing is we can measure that. It's such I love that we've moved to this heart rate variability because we can see how strong a nervous system is. We can see if you're in a state of stress. If your bones have shifted onto your spinal cord, it can elevate your resting stress response. And if you're in a state of stress, your body does not want to calm down and heal and recover. It's in emergency mode. It's in fight or flight. It's trying to survive. It's not going to physiologically want your body to be in a place of healing. So if you're not sleeping, get checked by a neurologically based chiropractor, guys. I don't care where they're at in the U.S. Get checked, see if that stress response is balanced or overactive. Isn't that good, bud? Yeah, man.
It's fantastic. Well, because our body, if we're not sleeping well, our body doesn't have the ample time to recover and regenerate. So all those daily stressors we go throughout the day, they don't get kind of that full recovery cycle we need through the course of the evening. And it's going to be one of those things where if we calm that system down, you could sleep on the floor and get good sleep. A nice mattress will help stay asleep, but if your body can't shut down and recover, then it's not going to matter in the long run anyway.
And it's the number one thing that we see, especially I was talking with Marianne. Miss Marianne, if you're watching this, big shout out to you. She slept through the night, she's sleeping through the night again. What a big quality of life change for her. Just to be able to know her body's improving, healing, and moving in the right direction. It gives her so much certainty in what we're doing. And the beginning to sleep is just a first step towards a much healthier, higher quality of life.
Agreed. We had another gentleman just last week. His number one goal for care was to be able to sleep on his right side again. And over the last 6-7 months of care, he was able to for the first time last week, which is great. It's one of those things where that was the whole reason he came to get adjusted. And now it's slowly becoming a possibility with time and repetition. I wish we could fix it in one adjustment, but we're technically not fixing anything. We're letting the body slowly heal. So, it's a little bit of a commitment to your health.
It is. And if you're getting better under care, which everybody does, it's just a matter of when, not if, do not be surprised when we start asking you about your friends and your family. It's great for you to get healthy, but what's the point of you getting healthy and leaving your family behind to get sick, right? We want you to be healthy so you can lead your family, but we want you to be able to lead your family in health and set the example and bring them with you. And we're going to make that extremely easy. And we can work with schedules, we can work with finances to make sure that the entire family should be under care. And when we're working with you, if your spouse isn't under care, if your significant other's not under care, if your kids aren't under care, we know it. We have a little spot in our file where we can put it in there, and our goal is to inspire you to get your family healthy too. So we evaluate at no cost. See how their nervous system's doing. We'll do a full spinal exam, no cost to you, because that education is going to help empower you to help your family get healthy too.
And it's one of those things too. I was like, we get it. Some people are stubborn, but just be a walking billboard for how, good the results you see are. And eventually you will wear them down. We will get them adjusted. And then they'll, it's the classic age old saying we hear all the time in the office is, why didn't you tell me about this 2 years ago when you started? And then they feel bad that it's always that lack of, like regret, like, God, you're right. I should have done this a long time ago. Like, where has this been? We hear that so much. And it's like, we've been here the whole time. We have to find out when it's right for you. And we'll be here with open arms.
And timing's everything, right? It's like even earlier this week, we didn't even have her on our schedule, but you did a health talk months ago, and a lady showed up, super flared up, and she was saying we were doing her report of findings yesterday. She's like, I knew I should have came in, just wasn't the right time, and because of that, I have to pay the fee, if you will. I have to pay the price of having waited, right? And she was in a pretty rough spot. She was already doing great after her first adjustment with you, Doc. So kudos to that. I know you didn't treat anything, but I love that she was starting to see the relief of that. But timing's everything. So if you've been asking your spouse or you've been asking a family member, they need care, but they're saying no, there's a principle in our office, and it's time and repetition. All things take time. And time and repetition, just like an adjustment, one adjustment is not going to do anything. One workout's not going to do anything. But with time and repetition, you're going to build the state of health and healing long term to make a change. And it's the same thing. Sometimes you have to, with time and repetition, to remind people of what's right and what they need. And eventually, when the time is right, they'll commit to it as well.
Couldn't agree more. Time and repetition is one of those things we talk about a lot in the office. It's a commitment, and you got to be ready and you got to be willing. Like you said last week, it's, there's excuses we can make. We can lie to ourselves, but at the end of the day, we just need to realize that it feels good to feel good. And being healthy and being able to enjoy life is something we can't take for granted. We got to harness it and embellish it and make it better. And some people under wellness or maintenance care, we kind of use those two words interchangeably, but they're two different things. A lot of people have been under care for a couple of years. We're at a certain level where we're just trying to maintain where they're at. We're trying to break through from maintenance to wellness. Well, we'll slowly keep improving over time. And, usually the lowest amount of care we'll recommend is every other week, a couple times a month. And sometimes that's not enough, but it's convenient for people's, wallet and schedule, so they will refuse to do more. But in a sense, that's kind of holding them back. And it's one of those things where sometimes we need more care. Sometimes we need more sleep. Sometimes we need to drink more water. Sometimes you just need more of what's good. And we have to realize that and recognize it. So if you feel like you're a little flared up or you feel like you're kind of plateauing, talk to us and we can assess you and see if you do need more care.
Yeah, because maintenance, you're going to maintain. Wellness, you're going to continue to improve and create a healthier, weller version of you long term. And sometimes it's illogical to think that you're only ever going to have to do the bare minimum throughout life, because you're going to have seasons where you're going to have more stress. You're going to have seasons where you're going to have injuries. The great thing is we can measure this. So what I've seen for some of our practice members is they elevated themselves to a certain level and we maintain that over time, but they had an injury or they had more stress and they dropped, but they maintained at that maintenance frequency. And so they've been operating at that same lower frequency over time. And quite honestly, what we needed to do is we really did need to ramp back up to get back up to cruising altitude, if you will. So knowing that is crucial. So that's why we're going to evaluate you every so often. Everybody's different. We're going to evaluate often enough to know if your system has been suppressed, so we can give you the proper amount of care to always keep you with time and repetition throughout your entire life, forever, guys, in a state of health and wellness. I'm going to get adjusted throughout my entire life. From now, weekly, multiple times a week sometimes, through my entire life, all the way onto my deathbed. And what I'm going to ask whoever's my chiropractor at that time, I'm expecting it to be Dr. AJ. He's going to clear my interference and I'm going to pass on, and I am going to die as efficiently as my body was designed to. I don't care. It's going to happen the way it was designed to happen. And I'm going to be so good at it. Everybody's going to be like, man, he died good. He died real good.
You say that a lot, and I wholeheartedly believe it. And it's awesome.
Yeah,
I got one last question for you though.
yeah.
Why is the least amount of care we recommend every other week or 14 days?
Everything that we do in this office is based out of research. And one of the biggest pieces of research I saw early on, like while I was still in school, is that scar tissue will start to set into a misalignment after about 14 days. So if you think about brushing your teeth, we brush our teeth multiple times a day to keep the plaquing off of our teeth. It's maintenance. If you don't, they're going to plaque, they're going to rot. You know that, right? When bones are going to shift out of alignment. And so we adjust every other week for maintenance to keep the plaquing off the spine, because your body will start to lay scar tissue down within a 14-day window to protect that joint. And then it'll begin down the degeneration process of distorting the structure, calcifying the disc and the joint around it into one giant bone. And then you go to the doc because you have a little bit of pain, and they fuse your spine up. So what we're going to do is we're going to brush your spine, time and repetition every 14 days in a state of maintenance to make sure that you have a long, happy, healthy life.
And get adjusted till you die, right?
Till you die. Die good. Die good. Die good. All right, take us home, brother. What's your final thoughts for today?
I did final thoughts last week. It's your turn this week. You get to close us out, especially on the eve before the Super Bowl weekend that you've been looking forward to, even though you've played in like 4 of the last 5. So.
I'll be honored to do that. Quick reminders. Number one, we do have our soup drive coming up. We do have a helper in the office today, my little boy, Olin. You guys will be able to see him. He's 6 now. He's going to be handing out the soup drive flyers. If you aren't in a position where you can go and do the shopping, we do have a place or a Venmo if you want to do donate some finances. We'll do the shopping for you. We're happy to do that. If you want to bring in cans, happy to do that as well. I've been seeing a lot of organic soups coming through. I was like, I see you guys with that chemical stress, trying to reduce our chemical stress, which is awesome.
I love that.
So, yeah, the food bank will be very grateful for all of this, though. And in the end, those who have the capacity have the ability, have the responsibility, and it goes back to everything. So that's where I'm gonna leave us. Is our Constitution states that those who have the ability have the responsibility. I believe that we all have the ability to live a good life that's designed to help other people. If we control the variables, we can live a life that allows us to make this world a better place than where we found it. And the way that we do that is by setting the example. So we get healthy. We set the example for our family. We get them healthy. They set the example for their community and their people, and they get healthy. And then we spread the positive message of health and healing to the world that you're not going to see on any sort of Super Bowl commercials this weekend.
Nope.
Tell me. I'm going to sit here right now, and you can check me next Thursday. Tell me if you see one health and wellness-based, chiropractic-based commercial. I'll tell you what type of, and you're wearing his jersey right now. You're gonna see a commercial. You're gonna see a commercial. I bet you do. What's they call the double tap?
Yeah.
You're gonna see that because it has to be marketed to the public to get them to do it, right? And we're not gonna go too much deeper into that today, but let's round back onto that next week and see what type of commercials you guys see. So those who have the ability have the responsibility. Be responsible for your family. We love you guys. See you soon.
Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.